Hi folks, Ricky Tang here, and today I'm going to be taking out this little beastie, the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. Sounds gentle. I like it. Straight off the bat, now the camera's not going to catch this, is it? And I should have shown you, I'll show you later on the walk around. It's got a heel and toe shifter, which I've not used since I was on a step through many years ago. But anyway, let's go for a spin and see what we got. Right, no pressure little Meteor, but the lane in front of me closes very soon with those cones, so I've got to get ahead of this Nissan. Oh, it might be a Leaf, it might be electric. I might get turned over at the lights. Or they might take pity on me, we'll see. So I was curious about this bike, the performance from a and the performance from a 20 horsepower or 20.6 horsepower single cylinder 350, but it just did the traffic light Grand Prix with no bother. I've got to say, it picks up really quite well. One of my main concerns really with this bike is performance, to be honest with you. I thought, would a 20 horsepower 350 be outgunned, feel risky on wider roads? But so far the bike's holding its own. Only 5 speeds on this little machine. It's not particularly quick, you've got to admit, but it gets up to 60 without a lot of effort, to be honest with you. Less effort than I was expecting, especially considering it weighs 191 kilos wet, which is a fair weight for a little 350 to be carrying around. The riding position is also something that surprised me. I looked at the bike on the forecourt at Frasers, didn't quite realise the foot pegs to be quite as far forward as they are. Now I'm sat on it, now I'm riding. Yes, my feet are forward, but not very forward. It's not too much of a cruiser riding position. You're not really raked out, and my back is upright. I'm sitting bolt upright from the bottom upwards. The front brake is not particularly strong, but it is progressive. The more you squeeze, the more you slow. It feels predictable. Pretty much ideal for a novice, I would say, actually. Not intimidating. In fact, the whole bike feels very nice and easy to ride. What surprises me is that this bike is available, you know, the base model, which I think is called Fireball, is available from under £4,000. It's just mind-boggling in this day and age. So we got a single Bi-Bray, which is kind of a sub-brand of Brembo, single disc at the front, single disc at the back. Well, you might have thought you'd be getting a drum. Dual channel ABS. I do wonder if I've got traction control. I guess I haven't. Since I'm here doing not many miles an hour, let me tell you what we're like at slow speeds. First of all, I am hugely comfortable. It's very comfortable, this riding position at slow speeds. The seat is cupping my buttocks nicely and feels supportive, not too firm. It's spimbling along nicely. The on-off throttle transition, the slow speeds, very good. Mirrors, nice and clear. Better, I don't know what they did with the Himalayan, but the mirrors on the Himalayan were really quite rubbish. These are much better and more like the Interceptor, which is good news. Now the suspension, you see I'm maybe riding on this little rubbish bit of patched up tarmac. At slower speeds it feels a little bit choppy. So the damping, okay, could be better. The forks are unadjustable. The back's only adjustable for preload, so there's not much you can do about it. So you can't pretend it's a quality suspension action, but it doesn't feel bad. It's not a bad suspension quality. Yeah, that's good. First gear got me to over 20 miles an hour, so if you're in 30 mile an hour limits, give it a little push in first gear, and then second, third and fourth, you're there. 30 mile an hour, no trouble. It's pokier than I expected it to be, so what I like is that low down torque. Bit too soon to say, but with a small engine you'd be kind of tempted to bring it out and kind of, you know, try and get it to speed quickly. But I get the feeling short shifting might be the way, even on a relatively heavy 350 single like this. Handlebars, very nice span to them. It's all very comfortable, I've got to be honest. And you'll probably not be able to go fast enough. That wind blast becomes a problem. If you don't mind not going very fast, I think potentially you can do quite a few miles on this bike. And that's where fuel consumption will help as well, because I think we're talking over 90 miles per gallon imperial on this machine. And if you're gentle, probably over 100 miles per gallon. Right, get a bit of speed up. Gotta say, although the suspension, you know, the quality is not quite there, but the chassis and the road holding, it feels very solid, stable, secure on the road. Yeah, if you want to give it some revs and around about 60 mile an hour on the back road, I think fourth gear is where it's at. So on this bike, there's actually a button on the switch gear to let me scroll through the trick computer settings. And yeah, this bike has only got 126 miles on the clock, so the engine may well free up and, you know, unleash a little bit more performance in a couple of thousand miles time. That is something I've heard about the Himalayan. It does seem to perform a little bit better with a few thousand miles on the clock. Interesting. For a single cylinder 4-stroke, there's not an awful lot of engine braking. Seems to be quite happy to roll on this little downhill stretch. Not a biggie, just an observation. Just make sure you cover your brakes if you're going downhill, so the bike doesn't get carried away with itself. Not using my heel yet to change up, it's still keep forgetting to do that. I also actually got to say impressed with the instruments. You do have the tripper navigation, so for a bike this cheap, you've actually got, you know, turn-by-turn navigation available once you download the app and get it linked with your phone. I'm not linked up, which is why the time's wrong. Yeah, I'm impressed that I've got a fuel gauge. Very impressed that I've got a gear indicator. And even more impressed that I've got separate indicator idiot lights for left and right hand turns, not just a single light. That is one of my pet peeves. One thing that I'm struggling a little bit with, and it might just be the foot forward riding position and the fact that maybe the gear levers are a tad higher than maybe I'm used to. I go from first to second and I keep getting it into neutral, so I need a second stab at the gear lever, but that just might be me getting used to it. I think I'm just not giving it a long enough throw to get it into second. Now this is obviously a recent engine design. It's not an old engine, it's I think pretty much brand new. And if you were thinking a Royal Enfield 350 engine is going to feel old-fashioned, a bit like their old bullets, Not that I've ridden the Bullet, but it doesn't feel old-fashioned. Yes, it feels a little low in power, but it does not feel outdated. Oh, starting to get into the heel action for the upshift now. It does make sense actually. That's quite comfortable. Now that I've told my foot what to do. One thing that does let the side down somewhat is the headlight halogen unit. Can you see it reflected in the truck? Very yellow, not modern at all. I'm out of the view of this truck's mirrors, which is usually a bad thing, but I just want to check the main beam. Yeah, it's not ideal. Clutch take up as you let the clutch out. Nice and progressive. Doesn't seem to be willing to stall. Really got no complaints. Here we are then, one Royal Enfield Meteor 350. Now this spec is the Fireball. There is a Stella, which comes, or Stellar, comes with a backrest, and a Supernova, I think, comes with a fly screen and a backrest. So this is the base model. I think, you know, some of the trims do have a chrome exhaust. Yeah, single bi-bray caliper at the back. You can see the preload adjusters. So actually that's on the lowest preload setting. So I don't think I'd be tempted to raise it anymore because it already feels a little bit springy, a little bit firm, but not a bad result really considering the price. There's our heel toe shifter. So I do have to report I'm getting a lot of shifts into neutral from first rather than reaching second, but I keep using the front of the gear lever, not the back of the gear lever. So I think if I use the heel more often, I'll be okay, probably. Have a nice little close-up look. One thing that is curiously absent as I look around here are exposed cables. Everything's nicely sheathed, nicely wrapped. It's a impressive look. Look, get under the tank. It looks well screwed together, doesn't it? Well, that's what I think. You're just looking at a video. But as I'm staring at it here, I'm impressed with what I see. Even got a mud guard, little mud flap there, you know, fender extender. A lot of bikes, you've got to pay extra for that sort of thing. That is in there. Although I've just noticed, I think we got a missing screw. Oh dear. Right, okay. I'm going to have to try and maybe I have to unscrew this and take this with me back to the shop. So yeah, be careful owners. The screw on the other side feels tight enough. The one in the middle's loose and the other one is gone. Is that a vibration thing? I couldn't be certain, but I'm going to tighten it up now before I forget. That'll be twin piston caliper. Got our ABS in there, ABS ring. Seat tyres, CEAT, 190/19 on the front, so we've got a 19-inch front wheel. And yeah, that gives for kind of nice, solid, secure road holding, I found. And we've got a 140/70/17 on the back, so not too small considering it's a little 350. We've got over here, and impressive for the price. Centre stand, so that'll be good for your chain maintenance as well. There's our dash. So we do have a little button on the top that can scroll through the settings. Seem to have a little of a frame rate issue there on the video. That is not flickering on in real life, so I think that's just the frame rate on the camera on my phone. So yeah, anyway, tweak through the settings, trip A, trip B, and Odo. Just the three choices. Let's reset trip B for the hell of it. I imagine just hold it down. Yeah, I just held the button down and that's reset trip B for you. So yeah, fuel gauge across the top, time, gear indicator, and I think that's pretty much your lot. You've got some idiot lights at the bottom. I think that's flashing just because the ignition's on. ABS light there, neutral indicator. There's your left and right indicator lights. I love that. I know it's a silly little thing, but I'm pleased it's got those. So we have our brake reservoir. We've got decent quality mirrors. Again, sorry to keep moaning, but the Himalayan mirrors not so good. These spot on.
black levers as well. So we got like powder coated levers, I guess, not chrome, so they didn't cheap out there. Did I try the horn? I can't quite remember. Unless your fuel pump kind of priming. Not too high, not too shrill. That's quite a quality sound, that. Let's start the bike, because I don't think I can see the light right now. Nope. Let's start the bike. Listen to this nice inoffensive startup. That's it. So yeah, not much to report in terms of lighting. Get it onto the main beam. There's the idiot light there. Bright enough. Well, I am standing right in front of it. It's quite bright. But yeah, again, yeah, just wish we had an LED unit. The pass light is actually just this, just a little spring push on the light switch. Rear light, classy styling, isn't that? That's a nice little styling touch on the rear light. Sounds quiet though. Sounds too quiet, doesn't it? I like the tone, just needs to be a bit more of it.
So in summary, this Royal Enfield Meteor 350 has genuinely impressed me. I thought it was just going to be a slow bike and not very exciting ride today. But yeah, the grunt of the engine at low revs, more than I expected. The handling, better than I expected. The ergonomics are impressive. There's not much to complain about. And at around about £4,000, brand new on the road, yeah, I am seriously impressed. So thank you, Frasers of Gloucester, for loaning this bike. Thanks for hanging out with me on this little test ride, and I'll see you folks in another video. Take care. Ta-ra.